Good evening, peoples. I thought I'd whip out old Skullcruncher here for old time's sake. This guy was one of the 3 Decepticon headmasters who all had, like, beast alt modes, and his function in the group was no more complicated than to be the big mean one. So check out his robot mode. He's nice and beefy, and he looks every inch the mean ass he's supposed to be. What kind of sets off the scary vibe is how his eyes aren't painted at all. They just kind of blend into the rest of his head, so you can't really tell if he's looking at you. Check out this nice urban green on his torso as well, that's pretty mean ass. It's a real shame about all this pink though, it doesn't really do him any favours. But it is hilarious. The only time I've ever seen this guy in action is in one episode of the Takara series, where he shows up at the beginning and goes, "I'm Skullcruncher," and then later on he accidentally gets hypnotised by Mind Wipe, and then Galvatron steps on him and he goes, "Ugh, So not only is he the brute, he's also obviously the thicko of the pack. But if we flip down his old headmaster flap there, this is my personal favourite headmaster feature. Have a look at his stats there, he's got an intelligence of 7. That's not bad. So yeah, he's slow, and he's strong, but he's not necessarily stupid. But that stats thing, that just blows my mind. I love that on all the headmasters. The only other headmaster I've got is Highbrow, and I would love to review him. But he's in such a state, he's destroyed really, it's kind of tragic. But anyways, check out his weapons here. He's got this little pistol, which apparently is like a softening up gun. It gives him the consistency of rubber, so he can then chew on them at his leisure. Ugh, what a way to go. In his other paw over here, he's got this little sword, which has got to be the bluntest thing I've ever seen. I guess you could use it as like a hacksaw, but as a blade, it kind of... I can't see how that would work. He does actually have a fair bit of articulation as well. Like his shoulders and his elbows and his wrists and his knees, they all move pretty good. And while they are all part and parcel of his transformation, they still totally count. One of his hands over here is a bit floppy, it's always been like that. I tried to fix it earlier on, but it's having none of it. While I do love this robot mode to bits, I just can't get over all this kibble. Check out, you've got his legs and his flaps. Oh, I said flaps! And this alligator head hanging off his back. That's just brilliant. Although it is kind of handy when you're trying to show the toy to a camera. I'd like to think that's a preemptive move on Hasbro's part. Transformation is so easy and so G1. I really miss the days when you could take a figure as big as this and just switch it over in 10 seconds. Check out this alt mod though, it's so wonderfully silly. It's a giant, mostly pink alligator. While that is an awesome alt mode, and I imagine it would work pretty well in the field of battle, is it really a disguise? Who would be fooled by this? But that's kind of besides the point, this is still a lovely, lovely figure. The one problem I do have with it is how little Grax has to sit in his mouth. Surely when chewing is his primary attack, this can't be very practical. Let's check this guy out for a second. This is Grax, and he's pretty much the same as all Headmaster partners. He's just a little guy who turns into a head. But the detail in him is actually really good, and he's looking pretty cybergoth in that black and green there. Well, that's pretty cool. So he's nothing special, but he's functional. I do love this guy, I have to say. He does have that retro charm that's so wonderful, that G1, but he oozes it in a very different way to Optimus and Prowl and all those guys. It really takes me back to that period of G1 where it started to go a little bit mental, and I will always love him for that.